Hi, costuming friends. Welcome to Cocktails and Costuming. I'm Gigi, and today I'm interviewing Nene from FOTC Fan on Instagram. I think we should just get right into our sip and chat today.
Yo,
Today I am drinking red wine. And Nene, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking gin from a gin distillery in Oakland, California, where I used to live.
I approve this choice. All right, well, let's just get right into the questions then. What are your handles on social media? How can we find you out there?
Yeah, so as you said, FOTC fan, that's primarily like where you can find me and send me a message if you'd like.
Very awesome. What are your labels and how did you acquire them?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not super, and I know everyone's going to say I'm not really into labels, but I think I'm too new to actually have some sort of label, but I am interested in historical costuming and vintage.
Okay, that's fair. Then those are your labels. I mean, we
Yeah,
get to choose our own labels in my world. So,
sure.
how long, since you said you're new, how long have you been costuming and how did you get into it?
Yeah, so I've been costuming on and off for 4 years, but I took a pretty big break in between. So I'm actually just getting back into it during this whole quarantine, shelter in place time. Primarily, though, what really drew me into historical costuming was actually the Lolita fashion community. So I was super into Lolita. I still love Lolita as well. And I think that is really what drew me into like specifically Victorian and Edwardian fashion, strangely enough.
Okay, I've got some of your pictures on the screen from your Instagram, and yeah, you do get into all of that stuff. So how do you choose your projects?
I choose whatever like strikes my fancy aesthetically. I think I said before, I still consider myself fairly new because I just started learning how to sew for myself. In the past, I would get my costumes commissioned, but now I'm teaching myself to sew. So basically, whatever I think looks pretty, whatever I think might be challenging to me as well, so that I can learn new skills.
I can relate to that. So when I started out on my costuming journey, I was basically involved in living history, and just the skill set for 15th century Italian clothes was so advanced, right? And I had never sewn before. I was a history buff. I'm a sociologist, so I love studying about people, but I had never sewn. So I was like, well, I'll just work with people who do know how to sew and commission things. So I'm actually now starting to journey, start the journey for learning to sew myself and sewing more, not just beginner things, but advanced things. So I'm on the same path. It's scary a little bit, but it's also like exciting, right?
Yeah, no, it was totally exciting and very rewarding, I think.
Awesome. So, what was your craziest project so far and why?
So craziest project? I guess, okay, so I'm going to answer this a little bit differently. I don't have a crazy project given, that I'm still a little new, but I think a crazy project that I definitely want to do in the near future is a court mantua dress from the 1760s. Obviously, a la Marie Antoinette style, like Madame du Pompadour. Like, I know that's, again, very cliched, but those dresses are gorgeous and frilly, and I want all the jewels, all the frills, all the lace. And I'm sure
Dripping.
it'll be, yeah, absolutely. I want to look like a 1760s drag queen. So that's what I'm going for, essentially, that aesthetic. And
That is an accurate description.
exactly. And I think it'll be a really good project and to challenge. I think it'll challenge me even more.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. So, which historical periods or people from historical times really inspire you the most?
Yeah, so I'm more inspired by periods. So 1760s to 1780s, 1850s to 1880s, and also the Edwardian era, as I said, and then the 1930s. So I actually have a couple of reproduction custom-made garments in the from 1930s patterns because I like that era so much. So in terms of like, I guess more modern clothes, that's what I'm into, but more historical, those other periods.
So I regrammed one of your, I think, 30s outfits.
I
It's
saw.
floral purple. It's
Yeah,
really beautiful.
thank you.
Yeah, good work. So what groups or organizations do you want to give a shout out to?
Sure. So I am on the board of the Greater Bay Area Costumers Guild, GBACG GBACG or GBACG in my mind. Definitely want to shout out to that organization. I think many people watching are probably familiar, given the events that we do. It's a fantastic organization, very inclusive. The board as well is, I know we're really very much committed to bringing in people who might not have felt comfortable in costuming spaces or cosplay spaces, whoever they might be. So definitely want to shout out GBACG and encourage everyone to participate more. I mean, we're not really having events right now given quarantine, but definitely we will be in the future.
Yeah, and so that stands for Greater Bay Area Costuming Guild, right?
Yeah, Greater Bay Area Costuming Guild.
I have learned about them because I've met a lot of people. Funnily enough, I have met a lot of people in the GBACG, right?
Yeah.
You and Noelle. You guys seem like a great group of people. I've I've gone to your website and looked at some of your statements on anti-racism and inclusion. And so I really respect the stand that you guys have taken on it to make sure that people are welcomed and accepted into this community.
Thank you.
So what is something we would not guess about you?
So maybe this is a bit silly, but I actually work at Facebook. That's like my muggle job. But I'm not super into social media, as you will probably see from my not super updated Instagram account. But I'm trying to change that. You know, I know a lot about social media, obviously, like from my professional experience, but haven't really participated. Yeah.
So is there something I need to know? Should I not be on social media? Like, is there a conspiracy? Okay, I'm just making sure.
Not at all. Please continue to use Facebook incorporated products, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger. No,
as a woman of a certain age, I am definitely on Facebook, and it is my platform. I'm probably never going to get off of that one and onto anything like Snapchat or, I don't know, TikTok and the other stuff. Like, I know how to use Facebook. I'm comfortable with it. I've gotten into Instagram, which is how I've started to like meet more people in costuming. So yeah, very comfortable there.
Yeah, no, these are all great platforms. And like, as you said, I'm also like, I don't know how old you are, but I'm of a certain age as well. And Facebook was definitely the first kind of social media platform, first big one that I was on. So I definitely think it's great because it's brought me into contact with other costumers and all sorts of people. So I'm very happy that I'm on it. I think I'm just more of a lurker than a creator, but that might change.
Yeah, I can see that. Were you ever on MySpace?
I was, yeah.
So was I. Like for a hot second before no one was on MySpace.
Right. Like, I think MySpace is actually still around, which is weird.
I have actually heard that. I heard a comedian talking about how MySpace still exists, and I'm like, whoa, that's strange. But yeah. You know,
Tom is still friending everybody.
You do you, MySpace. You do you. So who would you have like fangirled over, or who have you fangirled over?
Honestly, I've seen your pictures and I am stunned. And I think I have quite high standards, even though I'm still kind of new to this or beginning of my journey. But the level of detail that you put into your costumes, and I think the amount that you've studied, the effort that you put into, you know, I know not everyone can travel, but you've used your means to travel to Italy and research and go to the libraries there and presumably learn Italian, or at least enough to read primary sources. And I think that's incredible. Like I am such a big fan. And I think I knew about you before the, I think Noelle hosted like a race and costuming panel. And I knew about you before that, but I think I was even more impressed by like the sort of things that you were saying there. So I'm honored that you have me here because I love your work.
Likewise, so we can fangirl over each other. So how were you mentored? You said you're pretty new, you know, into this community for about 4 years. How were you mentored or helped along the way?
Yeah, it's a good question too. So at the very beginning, I actually was part of Dickens Fair. So I was in a cast, the Adventurers Club, for Dickens Fair. Dickens Fair, for those who don't know, is a reenactment of Charles Dickens' The Christmas Carol. It happens this year, of course, it didn't happen, but usually happens every November and December in the Bay Area in San Francisco. So I was part of a cast there. volunteered, and I'm not part of the cast anymore. I haven't really been as like active, but that was really my start. And I think just being a part of that and seeing how seriously people were taking their reenactments and their roles. People would like donate stuff to me, sell me things at like a very low like price, like help me with like my persona. Like it was really cool to actually be a part of that. And I met other people from other guilds and casts. So I was very happy about that. And I think I feel very grateful to have been a part of that. And I hope to be a part of it again once Dickens Fair starts up, if possible. And then besides that, I've been watching a lot of YouTube, of course. So YouTube being like the new encyclopedia, I've learned a lot from that. So I guess I should thank all of the costumers as well for being my mentor.
I'll send out a thanks to them too. I'm learning a lot. And I've only kind of been branching out from the organization that I've started out in, the SCA. I've only been branching out really for the past 10 months. Right. So I'm learning a lot from their videos.
Absolutely.
So when you look to the future, well, first, before we get into your goals for the future, do you have any favorite inspirational quotes? And if so, by who?
Yes, I wrote this quote down actually, and so I wouldn't forget it, and then I forgot it. So Onya quit, Chia quit is an Igbo proverb. So Igbo people being from the southeastern part of Nigeria and West Africa, which is where my family is from. So it means roughly, if you say yes, your spirit or soul also says yes. And it generally means that you should, you are in control of your destiny. And if you want to go for something, then you have to make the first step to do it. No one is going to like help you in that effort. You yourself, first of all, have to have the goal of doing it. So it's always been kind of like, I shouldn't say always, but it's definitely been, once I came across it, it has guided me a lot, especially in this kind of new like journey into sewing and sewing for myself.
Okay. And so it has to do with chi then, that same, like this word is a word that's across a lot of different cultures as far as like personal energy or spirit and the word chi. That's really, I like that quote a lot.
Yeah, isn't that like, it's really interesting because chi and Igbo like spirituality is very, it means like, it's hard to translate into English, but it's like personal God, but not God. It's I don't know, it's hard to translate, but yeah, this basically like personal spirit soul thing that we can't see that animates each and every one of us, and each and every one of us has a unique one. So yeah, kind of similar to
all right,
like,
so you guys do your research. This is a cool topic. I'm gonna put the word down below so you guys can, I'll put the whole phrase down below so people can look that up if they want to.
Yeah, go for it.
So what are your goals for the future?
Goals for the future. So when you were asking me this, I was thinking like personal goals or costuming goals. I'm not sure.
I mean, either or, whichever one you want to share with us. We're open for it. We want to know about you, Nene.
Yeah, of course.
So what are your goals for the future? Costuming or life in general, either or, whatever you want to share. We want to know.
Okay, yeah, let me start with costuming. So goals for costuming, I mean, some of my friends know this, but I want to switch my wardrobe, mainly like, let's say 70 to 80% to vintage reproduction. So as a goal of mine, like that is a goal of mine, first of all. I'm trying to be more sustainable in my fashion choices. I find that especially for my body type, I just don't find clothes that I want to wear, and even vintage clothes, right? Like I have a lot of true vintage pieces, but it's not, they're expensive like to get, and especially for my size, they might be like hard to get. So actually a friend of mine in LA, Melissa Morris, who is So Vintage on Instagram, makes a lot of my reproduction clothes because I have not learned how to do the 1930s yet. And even when I do, I will still be using her because she is incredible. So basically, like, she's helping me transition my wardrobe. Apart from that, I want to get better at costuming to the point of like couture level. And I think that will take a lot of trial and error. I think it's already taken some of that, like this shirt that I'm wearing, I made it myself. So like I'm like, getting in there, like slowly, like making mistakes, learning, but I'll get there. Like, I really do think I'll become, or I would like to become, and I do think I will become like a very, very precise sewist, in addition to someone who has more like handmade clothes in her wardrobe.
Those are good goals. I like them. So if you could give a new costumer a piece of advice, what would it be?
Yeah, so Noelle says this a lot in her videos. Just do the thing. Just do it. That's the only way you're going to learn and start. If and by just do the thing, like if it means that you have nothing, you don't have a sewing machine, you don't have anything, hopefully you have like pen and paper. Start with that and start drafting some things, sketching some stuff that you see like on online. Or like, I mean, if you're already kind of more creative or artistic, like use like a drafting program to start drafting stuff. Like you likely have access to YouTube, so start watching sewing videos and learning some of those basic techniques. Like you just have to start doing something and take that first step and not just like sit and spin on it.
Agree. I've heard her say that, and it's good advice. Wow, we went through this really fast. We're at the end of our show, and I still have a bunch of drink left. So after we stop recording, we can just sit and chat. How about that?
Sure. Why not?
All right, folks. Well, we're at the end of our show. She's answered all my questions. I feel like I've gotten to know her a little better, and I hope you guys have too. Will you do me a favor? Hit the subscribe button if you would like to be notified of the upcoming content that we have here. Also, give us a thumbs up if you liked this interview. Show our guest Nene some love. Follow her on social media. Write in the comments below. Please also write in the comments below if you know of someone that we should interview so we can reach out to them to highlight the work that they're doing. Thank you for being here with us, and stay safe out there. Be excellent to each other, and I'll see you next time.